I'm trying something different! This whole video's like style and format is gonna be heavily inspired by YouTubers like Scott the Waz and Narsha Rad, etc. Because I've always liked videos of that style, and I thought I'd try to make one of my own, so you know, why not? It's gonna be about my favorite video game franchise of all time. Super Mario Galaxy. Ha! It's not Halo. In this video, I'll be giving each of the 5 categories an out of 10 rating, and the 5 categories include the soundtrack, gameplay, art style, story, and sound design. And no, sound design and soundtrack are not the same thing. Then I'll give an overall average rating at the end, kind of inspired by how like the Act Man does his ratings. So let's get right into this. Okay, this game has the best soundtrack of all time in my opinion. The orchestral score is fucking magnificent. Gah! Okay, even the songs that aren't orchestral are good too, but I personally prefer the orchestral ones a little more. But there are some that aren't orchestral that I am absolutely in love with, and I'll get to that later. Both soundtracks for both games have that amazing atmospheric and chill vibe to it, especially the File Select song, one of my favorite tracks in the game. Another one of my favorites include all 3 themes for the Comet Observatory from Galaxy 1, and yes, there are 3 different themes. Mainly the difference is the instruments used, and I'll play all 3 for you right now so you can hear just the intro. So I'm pretty sure they're all selected at random each time you like go there, and they're not meant for like different times of the day. Like for example, the Pokemon Platinum soundtrack, how there would be 3 different tracks for each different times of the day. It was based off real time. It's not like that, I'm pretty sure, but it doesn't matter because all 3 are amazing. My favorite one out of the 3 though has to be the 3rd one. The intro is just so much more calming because it has like a flute, and it's just fucking I just like them a little more than the other 2. But I'm not saying the other 2 aren't good, because they are. They're really fucking good. My favorite tracks from different levels has to be the Cosmic Cove Galaxy from Super Mario Galaxy 2. The Gateway Galaxy from Super Mario Galaxy 1. And both Freeze Flame songs from the same game. Oh my god, this list goes on, man. I was listening to the OST while writing this script. That's how much I love it. The soundtrack was composed by Mahito Yokota and Koji Kondo, and I am praying to God that I did not butcher those names. And it was performed by an orchestra simply called the Mario Galaxy Orchestra. and they did an amazing fucking job. Just overall, both soundtracks were just amazing, and I personally give it a solid 10 out of 10. Now, honestly, the gameplay isn't really the best. Several actions were removed from Mario's moveset since Sunshine, such as diving, spin jumping, and being able to side jump from a standing point. However, a move was added where Mario does this sort of heat-seeking ground pound kind of thing, and the way you perform this is by spinning in midair and then about 0.2 seconds later just ground pounding. If you can do the ground pound before the spin, it won't work, so you gotta do it a little bit right after the other. There is still a form of spinning, not with the Luma, but if you get caught in a tornado such as the Dusty Dune Galaxy, this happens.
Absolutely disgusting. That's gross. No.
You can still side jump from moving a very small distance in both games since they have the same exact mechanics, but it's not really as easy as Sunshine because those are two different mechanics. Removing the dive was huge because those were in every 3D Mario titles back in 64 and Sunshine those were the only two 3D Mario titles. No, you can't count RPG, and those both had diving, but in Galaxy they removed it. However, I'm pretty sure the reasoning for this was that if you dove on a planet, it would just make it that much harder to, you know, navigate around it because you'd be launched across, kind of what happens if you do a long jump on a planet, and also you could easily fall off a platform. I'm pretty sure that's the reason they removed it, and if that is the reason, I understand that to every extent, because you do not want to constantly fall to your fucking death every time you dive. I'm not against removing the spin jumping mechanic, but a lot of people were from what I've heard, since now a way to jump includes either backflipping or side jumping or triple jumping, since they all have the same height, and then spin attacking. It gives you a lot more height and distance, but it slows down your momentum if you spin after a long jump. However, if you have the Ice Mario power-up, the spin will not slow you down if you long jump, and your momentum will stay the same and you'll just get more distance. I don't really understand why spinning is different for the specific power-up. If I were to guess, it's because Ice Mario is designed to skate on the ice he makes on the bodies of water, so you have to keep going as fast as possible to actually skate. Some other power-ups affect how the spin works, such as B Mario. If you spin in midair, it does nothing. It does jack shit. No extra height or distance, it's just used as a midair attack. And I'm pretty sure this is the case, because you don't need to spin to get height with a power-up that straight up lets you fly. Fire Mario's spin attack is also weird. It gets you a little bit extra height and distance, but less than that of a regular spin attack, since with Fire Mario you can spin multiple times in midair to launch multiple fireballs, and if it kept the same stats as a normal spin, that would be really overpowered. So that nerf to the spin was understandable. Speaking of Fire Mario and Ice Mario, I really do not like how they're both on timers. I believe you only get each power for about 20 seconds before it wears off, and this can be devastating to the flow of gameplay. If you're going through a section with power-ups such as here on Freeze Flame, you get hit once, and you will not have enough time to get to the part you need to go as Fire Mario. Then you have to go back to the start, get the power up again, and just start all over. If you slip up in the slightest, you'll just get kicked in the dick and sent back to the start. Same goes for this section. In the same level, if you fall, you gotta start all over. It's pretty easy to perform the triple jump if you're experienced, but with a new player who may not have that sort of experience with, hell, I've been playing the first one since it came out, and I still can't do this flawlessly. But this isn't as bad as straight up removing Ice Mario from Galaxy 2. Come on, Nintendo. Why'd you have to do that? It was my favorite power-up. At least that is besides Flying Mario with the red star. That is by far my favorite power-up. The music is just, the music is so fucking good. And Mario looks like a straight up fucking edgelord with that color scheme. Plus flying is pretty cool, especially in space. You know, other than the flaws that royally messed up the gameplay flow, it can still be so smooth if you manage not to mess up. But hey, Galaxy 2 at Yoshi, now love that. 8 out of 10. The art style. The art style, oh my god, the art style. I'm absolutely in love with both these games' atmospheres and aesthetics. More so Galaxy 1 because the levels were more kind of space-like, rather than Galaxy 2's skyboxes mainly being like how you'd see a normal planet sky in a Mario game. But still, the art is amazing, and I love how both the games look. The game's art style is really what got me into the sort of surreal space kind of look, and I love that shit. Just look at these skyboxes, man. They're gorgeous. I wish I had a powerful enough processor to run this game in my monitor's max resolution in Dolphin, but I don't. And yes, I use an emulator. I prefer Xbox controllers over Wiimotes, but don't worry, I do own both physical copies of the games. Actually, this is my third copy of Super Mario Galaxy, as the other two I scratched the discs on accident, because I was like a 10-year-old kid. But anyway, I don't have much else to say about the art style, other than it is my favorite art style out of any game ever, and I'm absolutely adoring it. And I have been since 2007. If you think it looks bad and kind of old, You'd be absolutely right. However, the game was first released in 2007, the same year as Halo 3. And for that year on the goddamn Wii, the graphics were insane, because the Wii graphically was nowhere near the Xbox 360. The Wii just looked really old, you know? It looked like a GameCube, and that was an old console. But Super Mario Galaxy looked amazing. So the art style gets a very well-deserved 10 out of 10. In case you don't know, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 tell the same story. And if you're saying that sounds kind of lazy, the fact that Galaxy 2 tells the same story as Galaxy 1 is part of the story. At the end of the first game, Rosalina says, "When stars die, they turn to stardust and scatter across the cosmos. Eventually, that stardust reforms to create a new star, and so the cycle of life continues. But the cycle never repeats itself in quite the same way, so you'll see." Pointing towards that it's gonna reset, you know? And then the game ends with all the characters back in the Mushroom Kingdom, with the camera panning away showing all the galaxies. Also, with the 120 stars ending, you can see what I think is the same Luma Mario met in Galaxy 2, since the first one died. So I loved how they told the story twice in 2 different ways, since Galaxy is one of the few Mario games with an actual backstory to it. Like the storybook. The storybook was a great addition in my opinion, and I love how they told Rosalina's story, especially with the amazing music to accompany it. Made it just that much better. By the way, the song that they use is called Luma, for those who are wondering, and it is available in both soundtracks. However, in Galaxy 2, they improved upon it, and it is really good. It's honestly one of the saddest songs I've heard in a video game, with Unforgotten from Halo 2 beating it by a lot, actually. I love that song to death, dude. However, I do love both songs, but it's just Unforgotten. That's way up there on my list. In short, I love the way this franchise's story was told, with the storybook and Rosalina explaining the second installment. It all meshed together so well, and I am absolutely in love with it, dude. The story gets a 9 out of 10. It doesn't get a 10 because MatPat ruined it.
Fuck you.
The sound design is okay in my opinion. On one hand, I love the sounds they use for the majority of the games, but I don't really like the cartoonish sounds they use for Mario's jumping. It didn't really fit well, but it's hardly noticeable, and I think I'm the only person it actually bothers, but still, Mario's voice in the games were probably the best there's ever been in my opinion. Charles Martinet did an amazing job as always, but I really think he did his best work in Galaxy 1 and 2. I know they reused a lot of sound assets from 1 and put them all in 2, but 2 actually did include some new voice clips for Mario for some of his jumps, maybe a couple other things, but I haven't noticed them yet. Almost all the sounds of both games fit it perfectly. They're exactly what I expect from a Mario title. There's not much to say in this category, but I give the sound design an 8 out of 10. In conclusion, these games are absolutely stunning. Being my favorite video game series of all time, this video may come off as a little bit biased, but nonetheless, I give these games an overall 9 out of 10. I love these games to death, but there were a couple flaws in the gameplay aspects and sound design. Other than that, it's pretty much flawless, except for the infinite flutter jump in Galaxy 2. Don't really know why they never fixed that. Anyway, that's it. I hope you guys liked this video. I tried something a bit different, and I'll come out with regular content in a bit. If you guys like videos like this, be sure to tell me, and I'd be glad to make more. Like I said, regular content's coming out soon. That includes Team Fortress 2, commentaries, and that channel lore that's coming pretty soon. And that's it. See you guys later.